So we are looking at our Masters Reinhardt playing against another Reinhardt. As soon as this one feels like loading up.
Ready for battle.
Usually long delay. Okay.
Wow. It's an honor to meet a member
Before we get going, is there anything else about this one other than you felt outrhined a bit? Or anything else in general you want to cover?
Let's see. I think... No, I think that should be it.
Okay.
Or actually, engagement timings. And my engagement timings were like on point.
Sure. Okay. Keep a special eye on engagement timing. We can do that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Okay, pushing up here. You guys go like this. Let me think about your comp for a second. You have your Zarya, you have Brawl healers, and you have a McCree Tracer. You're playing into reasonable healers in a mirror tank line. Okay, nothing too wild here. You immediately decide to surrender the space. So let's take a quick look here and really think about
Ready for battle.
whether that made sense. So you're here.
Okay.
Now let me
5, 4.
get our rewinds to the proper thing because we'll be doing a few of these. Good.
3, 2, 1.
So we're of course cheating with our third person view here. He gets out there faster, which is going to give him more angle control. And then we're looking at a case of, do you actually need to surrender this? Not particularly.
I think I surrendered this because I wasn't confident that my team was behind me.
Okay.
Especially my Zarya.
Okay. Now we're gonna have to fight our way back into it. There's your bubble. You just do the one. This is just gonna be a hard shield moment. And you get to enforce this. You should be good. Now you're backing up pretty hard on this. Now I see the bubble, so I see why you're backing up hard on this. But I'm looking at this and going, okay, that happened. You do still want to be up there because wouldn't it suck if you lose to your McCree right now? Like that would be bad. So we do want to be up there to minimize that. We see the bubble, but we know that bubble's going to be gone. So we can like before our next swing comes through,
I should have been
there's
in that
something
corner.
that we could have hit. Exactly. You sort of backed off, and if we look at this, you're not really enforcing this corner. First, it was your McCree that was vulnerable. Now it's your lamp that's vulnerable. And we don't really want that. We would much rather be like, no, you just can't have it. You don't want to be out here, but there's no reason that you can't be here as opposed to back here. Like, you're just tucked too far back and you have plenty of health. You don't need to be this afraid right now. That's fine. He punched you back. Okay. Okay. Nothing big here, and then you're gonna counter swing the corner. Yep. Nope. Too far.
Can you go over that part again, the too far part?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. A little bit here. So here you are. You go for this. I don't love this, but I get it. You're not in super danger for throwing this one out. And he doesn't have Shatter yet, and you should know that, so I can live with that. Then you're here. Okay, you're trying to enforce your corner, and I get you're trying to enforce your corner. Now you're down to 116 here, and you did swing a little bit far out here. Line, you'll notice before when I was telling you to hold this, you did have like 450, 500 health. You might have even had full health. Now, if we sort of look at the difference here, like we'll just do our one rewind. You know you don't have bubble. The Doomfist just beat you up a bit. You're down here below half health, and you're fine where you are. And you decide to go in a little bit deeper, a little bit harder here. And it is a bit of a micro game. Like, I know this feels like, oh, these are pretty minor differences, but they're minor differences that start adding up with your health, where it's like, now you're in a little worse shape here. So really, this is as far as you could possibly go. You've already hit your swing, right? Like, you've already hit as much as you're possibly going to get with your swing. So you should really already be holding this back button, because there's no way you're going for another swing here, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
So you should already be holding this back button because you not holding the back button actually lets him hook you in a little further with his counter swing. You see how that happens? How you get pulled in a
Mhm.
little by his counter swing? And again, his hammer swing is like a boop where it has less effect if you're moving against it effectively, which is what you should have been doing here. So now you're here. You do another swing there. This should be shield, and I think you know this should be shield. Here,
Right.
like this swing here. So now you're in a situation where it's like, woo, it's a good thing that this Zarya isn't hitting you right now.
Because she would have melted me.
Right. And then this is unfortunate, but now you get to push back up and take your space. I don't care that you got shattered here. I mean, I don't want you to get shattered here, but like from what we've been covering here, yeah, ideally you don't get shattered here. We could talk more about, hey, you do need to be worried. You know he's been getting more swings than you, and is it believable that he has a 50% ult charge lead on you? Yeah, that's pretty believable to me, right? Like, I don't
Mhm.
think we should be shocked by the fact that this is now an option
The
for him
objective
and that
is
he's
now
fighting this hard in this lane. Well, this might feel like he's fighting this hard in the lane just because he's trying to earn his team space, which, that would be good for him. But that he's come this hard into our lane, you do want to be thinking anytime a Reinhardt goes hard around the lane corner like this, wait, are you doing this because you're going to go for a shatter? Like, it's going to be hard for his team to follow up on a shatter, but this is a thing that Reinhardts do. Even very high level Reinhardts will go, I'm going to go around this and I'm going to hit my shatter even if I don't have good teammate follow up. I think I can get one or two. This is something that they do. So when they round the corner thoroughly like this right after it, that's a time that there should be not a huge flag, but a mini flag in your mind of, wait, is there a shatter?
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Shield maybe? Okay. Okay, you're gonna try to take some space. They're gonna give you the space. Excellent. Do you know where your support line is?
I knew my map cheese was behind me.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you feel like you know where your support line is, that's fine.
Keeper
Uh,
was.
mm,
Oh, he's right. He's right
okay,
there.
there we go. There we go. You're fine then. You're fine. I was just thinking you had time here definitely to know where your supports were as you rotated up here. But as long as you were comfortable that you knew your BAP could get you, fine with me. Fine. I don't actually care to shield this here. Why don't I care to shield this here?
Because I don't think it's gonna be a serious punishment since Reinhardt did just back off.
Right. Reinhardt's just backed off. Pin was the only real punishment you were worried about, and like your shield doesn't block that in the first place. Your Zarya's not weak. I'd like them to do a little bit of damage to Zarya right now, and I don't think that they're going to burst Zarya for 300 damage or so right now. So I don't think you shield this.
Okay.
Okay. It's a Nano Rhine. It's annoying that that's a Nano Rhine. Okay. You're going to kite this. You're kiting during the bubble. You have the later bubble. That's reasonable. The bubble's kind of unfortunate because if you don't kite, you're still going to be fighting Nano Rhine when the bubble's over. And now you're going to enforce this corner. Nope. Nope. You know roughly how long Nano lasts. So you're looking at this. Are you going to get another place that you get to fight Reinhardt on, really? Like, your
No.
next place is going to be, like, here-ish, and that's going to suck because they're just going to crush you from over here. So this is going to be your best place, and yes, you're going to be fighting through a second or so of Nano here, but I'll take my corner advantage, thank you, over... Like, I didn't want to take our corner advantage here necessarily unless you had more resource advantage than that, but now that you've kited most of the Nano duration, this becomes no, we're gonna fight here, darn it, because this situation really only gets worse in terms of they're gonna spread out, they're gonna take high ground, they're gonna do bad things. We'll take it here when he's low on nano time. And now you're stuck in the middle of the point, and his team should have a good surround going on here, which is just like, oh, well, how unfortunate.
Where I could have prevented all of that by being in that corner.
Right. You literally just go, nope, I'm going to do this. And yes, he'd have swung on you with Nano twice, but your BAP can use his lamp better here. Your BAP can heal you from here better. Your team can work from here to heal you if they want. Like your BAP will just play from up here to do work, to be able to threaten things, to come over here. Your Zarya will play from here, can go like this. Like, yes, this corner was going to be better for your ability to just go, I'm going to tax this corner. These guys will eventually still set up over here, but them setting up over here is better when you're here as opposed to you here, where you have no cover and they start to do their surround setup and, well, where do you go? Their concave just crushes you, right? At least their concave is mitigated if you have the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, now what do you do?
I'm trying to look for a shatter. I think I can get shatter in this fight, but I think I may have to just play to survive because we did
Okay.
lose our Zarya.
Yeah, so you play to survive for two reasons right now, actually. One is you
Okay.
lost your Zarya. The other is their Doomfist is currently in. And whether your team understands it or not, this team's win condition, it's not totally true, but basically you want to think of this, even though you're both running effective flanker, you want to think of this team's win condition as they force the brawl to happen while their Doomfist is in.
Gotcha. Okay.
If your front lines meet while Doomfist is in, either Doomfist is going to get work done or you're going to get crushed. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right now they're forcing your front lines to meet, or you're choosing for the front lines to meet because you could kite this more. It's not like you have some great corner here. You know, if you had a corner maybe, but you're choosing to let the front lines meet, and you just saw Doomfist punched in. When Doomfist is either dealt with and has to leave and will be out for 3 to 4 seconds, you want your front lines to meet. You actually want to keep sort of a distance a little greater than this between the two of you until their Doomfist gets forced out. And the reason you want to do this is in a normal comp, let's pretend, because you guys are almost running brawls at each other, normal brawls at each other, you guys would have a Mei while they have the Doomfist, right? So you guys would have better poke than them.
Mm-hmm.
So you would sort of do this if I keep a little more distance, like pretend you're one more body length apart, they can't really force the fight on you. You can kite it, and if the Doomfist and you guys have the better poke, so you just sort of let this Reinhardt get worn down, let these guys get out poked by your better poke until they cave and their Doomfist goes in early, and then when their Doomfist goes in early, everyone on the team except you deals with the Doomfist, and everyone, including you, kites the front line's aggression. You with me so far?
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Now, you guys have a Tracer, not a Mei. And you might feel like, oh, that changes everything because we don't really win the poke war anymore. Well, you do actually, because useless Shax over here, if Tracer and Doomfist find each other, who wins?
Tracer.
Hard. Tracer hard wins. So as long as Tracer is doing any level of communicating when Doomfist is forced out or anything like that, or even if he's not, eventually you'll see your Tracer wants to go in, and then maybe you'll push because you'll go, oh, my Tracer wants to go in, and maybe you'll push there, and you'll especially be trying to be aware of has the Doomfist been forced out, because your Tracer will regularly pre-force out the Doomfist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that becomes the thing. You're sort of trying to keep a poke distance where this guy can't force the fight with you, and then you hard kite, or you kite as best you can when the Doomfist is coming in. He will be hard pushing you, and you go kite, 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 kite. The Doomfist is out, and you hard turn and push back into him. Even if you feel like your team is low on resources, they just used lamp, they just used flashbang, they just used amp, you still are going to push after the Doomfist has been forced out. Because like ideally that means they're down a player, whether he was actually eliminated or had to leave. That's how the ebb and flow of this battle needs to go. Does that sort of make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. And you can overrule it sometimes. Like here, I was saying, hey, you have a corner, maybe you enforce your corner, not when they had the nano, but other times, like you can go, hey, I think the corner is going to be a big enough advantage. It's not consistently, but the corner will sometimes be a big enough advantage that you go, I'm not worried about the Doomfist coming in at the same time because we have enough of an advantage because we already have the health lead, or because they have to break the corner and we have the health lead, or because, there's times when you can go, we have enough other leads, but your default should be this sort of we kite and then push back in. And if we just kite forever, we win the poke war, and our winning the poke war will actually turn into us pushing you, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You don't usually fire strike like this. This is a little unusual for you. Like, there's an Ana right in front of your face who can potentially punish you for this fire strike, right?
I think I just got too greedy. I wanted to get the kill.
Okay. Okay. I just don't think you ever had it, is sort of what I'm getting at here. Like, if he was actually in one shot... Oh, yeah, he was in one shot range. I'm not going to complain about that, then.
But I think regardless though, I should never went for the fire strike anyway because there was like a second or two of a time where I saw the bubble go out, so I
Right.
should have just kept shielding.
Yes, yes.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Okay, back to this. Okay.
I thought I was gonna get bubble here.
Yeah, that's fine. You're just going to back out, right? Okay, you do. Okay. So, just as a reminder that Reinhardt's do that when they break the corner thing, they bubble sometimes. This is exactly what he did to you, right? So, like, you can see in action, this is a thing Reinhardt's do that you're sort of mentally, you should sort of mentally be thinking about when you see a Reinhardt hard corner even without his team like this.
Fire at will.
I can move that one. Just back.
I think I'm right here. I was deciding on if I should say the BAP or not.
Yep, I get him. Yeah, you can be pushing this. Your Tracer's pushing the other angle. No. Okay. Guess you're AFKing?
I didn't want to push in because we didn't have the Kree, and I think the Kree was our main damage source.
Sure. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, you see how alone this push out was? Like, I get what you're going for here, and we can definitely make an argument for, oh no, my team should just follow faster, but let's watch this from your team's perspective.
Okay.
You get slapped. Your team's pretty close. They could go with you. You get the bubble, and your whole team backs off. Okay, so I can't really fault you for that because your whole team was just like, nope, we're gone. Why did your team think that they should nope, we're gone, though?
I think because
Can you do anything with this bubble?
No.
Could they see that you couldn't do anything with this bubble?
Got you.
So they're probably
that was
thinking,
their timing to go in.
they're probably thinking, we're going to break this choke with our bubble. We just failed to. We didn't get value out of our bubble, so let's wait for the next bubble. That's probably what they're thinking. It's possible I'm giving your teammates too much credit, but that's the best guess I can give for why they scurried away like rats when at this moment, because they saw you didn't get bubble value. You're not actually helping them press in here, and they think you're about to get mauled, and they're kind of correct. You wouldn't have gone mauled this hard if they'd come out with you, obviously, but they're thinking that, oh, we didn't get bubble value, we didn't force this a little with bubble, we're probably going to struggle. Not the end of the world. They still shouldn't have evacuated on you this hard, but we want to understand, hey, how do we read our teammates a bit, or how do we get better value out of this?
Okay.
Okay. I mean, you definitely need to be back at this point. This trade just didn't really work. Good. This was predictable. Were you really going to be the difference maker with your fire strike back here?
I don't know.
Okay. I look at this and go, forcing out the Rhine was good. Forcing out the Zarya was good. I don't generally want you to turn around to deal with the Blade and Genji. I want you to continue to enforce to keep these guys out. Like, in this particular case, these guys can't really get at your back line, but in general, during Blades, what I want you to think of your job as is, hey, I'm going to not spend a ton of my own health, but I'm going to not let the opponents in. I'm going to do this corner hold, or maybe I'm even going to do a corner shield thing to stop these guys from supporting the Blade. Because if you have, let's pretend you have 3 teammates back here. Is it reasonable that your 3 teammates will deal with a Blade by themselves? Sometimes they'll go down to it, but sometimes they'll deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have 3 teammates back here dealing with a Blade, they have options. They have Zarya bubbles, boops, lamps. I know they don't have a lamp right now. Damage, things like that. And it could be with different teammates. It doesn't really matter. What's going to make this Blade successful, like, let me rephrase this. If you were playing as Genji and you went in and tried to 1v6 or 1.5v6 nanoblade the opponents and the rest of your team just sat and spawn, would you expect to be successful?
Well, you said if I was a Genji and I was nanoed?
Yeah.
No.
Right. You don't expect it to work if you 1v6. But if the rest of your team is like Ashes and Annas and Pharahs, and they're able to contribute to the battle where you're blading, you expect the Nanoblade to get some pretty good success, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you, as Reinhardt, can't do a ton to stop this Genji. If you were already back here, you could swing on him. But your options now are to throw a Fire Strike, which is kind of a prayer, or to pin, which is kind of a prayer. Your other option is to go, I'm going to, while spending 0 health, just not let other people contribute. I'm going to stop their Zen from peeking and moving his Discord around to help the Genji. I'm going to stop the Zarya from getting in here and throwing right clicks from beaming people. I'm going to stop the Reinhardt from pushing in and swinging into my teammates. You follow what I'm saying? Like, generally
Yeah.
your best bet while Blade is going on is to go, I can't help with that. What I can do is I can deny the rest of the support. I can go, he's trying to 1v5, he's trying to 2v5. Me, I'm going to do my best using cover to keep it as a 1v5, to keep it as a 1v that. And I myself might have to 1v3 or 1v5 to make that happen, but I'm going to excessively make use of cover to make that happen. So I am very low resource dependent. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay. And you see your team, they lost their bat, but it was a blade, and he tried to blade into 3 people, and he only got 1 there. So, okay, we'll take that.
I am on there. My ultimate is almost ready.
No, you don't need help. What are you talking about?
My ultimate is
Okay. Oh boy. Nice. I'm surprised you didn't Fire Strike cancel that. Like, you know the math, because if you hit the pin, well, it doesn't matter. Not looking at you. Good block. Yeah, not much you can do.
Meteor strike. Step right. Get behind me.
Moira by your side.
Overtime.
Okay. Unfortunate. Let's go back here. Here you are. You're sort of doing a, we've got time type thing. Do we want to just sort of be chilling on point like this? I mean, at the very least, can't we inch up to here? Like, he might push in onto point, but we would still sort of rather be here for that. We're not worried about them coming and flipping point on us immediately. So I would still say, hey, let's at least take this, but not a big deal. Sort of just putting yourself in somewhere to be poked out right now. There's that. You go for that. Unfortunate that you take the fire strike and the nade there. And then you just didn't. Okay. Okay, so we've had some corner enforcement stuff for you, which you know you can now see we're edging into a more serious tier of corner enforcement in terms of your micro adjustment of yes, I'm going to hold it against this last second of nano. I'm going to hold it when I have 400 HP. I'm not going to hold it when I have 200 HP. Like a little bit more there where we're getting tighter on calibrating how exactly you hold corners. We also are seeing some things where, yeah, you do need to understand the engagement timing, but it's mostly just understanding what can the comp do for engagement timing. I'm not going to let the engagement happen, but I'm going to keep a distance where we would like it to happen type stuff. Okay, so here we are. You guys are now running the Widow, and they're running the Tracer. Okay. And they have grabbed the BAP instead of the Ana. Okay, sure. Oh. This is fine with you. Still fine. You're gonna go for that. Okay, you're sort of backing off before you need to here. Like, if we're looking at this, totally get it. You know that your backline isn't fully supporting you around this, but they actually have, let me rephrase that. You think your backline isn't fully supporting you on this, but if you're tracking your health, you'll notice you haven't really been in any trouble yet, have you?
No.
Right. So if you're really tracking your health and realizing, wait, I haven't been in trouble, even if you don't know where your BAP is exactly, you didn't need to retreat back here at all, really, did you?
No, right. Okay.
Right. You could have already destroyed this lamp probably with your next swing. Yeah, with your next swing and taken Reinhardt with it. Like that's okay, that's important. Okay.
I shouldn't.
Yeah. I know. We'll do it. You're like, aha, I got this. Wait, I'm taking a bunch of damage. I know, I'll fire strike this. For what? You're taking a bunch of damage. You have less than half health, and you're not going to finish either of those. Yeah.
That's cringe.
Yeah. Okay. They've got their window going. You do have your McCree back. Your Widow's back here. Their McCree is back here. What's that?
Oh, my McCree's above me.
Yeah, no, yeah, or your McCree's above you, but your Widow is back
Widow,
here.
yeah.
I'm aware that you guys have an even enough fight here, though they have that window going that's not being used. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna slow this down. Fine. Backing up with me here is fine. Totally fine. This, though, we should be counter swinging into, right? Our health pool is still fine. He's pushed himself around the corner. Our swing will come from the right and force him more into the open like it did against you, remember?
Right. Okay.
So you just are hard shielding this, and I'm like, you can't be hard shielding this. No, you
For
have
what
to.
reason? Yeah.
Yeah, you're hard shielding this for not a good enough reason. You just let him get 2 swings on you for free, and he was gonna get maybe get his first swing off first on you, and I can live with that. But your first swing would have been better in where it knocked him, and I mean, you just let him have 2 for 0, which is we can't do that.
Yeah.
And now you're instead pushing around to do your work after he's swung into you twice, which is like, wouldn't it have been much better to go, I got to swing into him at least one of those times too. And now when we push for our bubble trade, I push around the corner for my bubble trade. Now he's missing another 150 health.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Predictable. So we're watching in slow-mo, so I'll bring this back to a more reasonable pace.
Okay.
Okay. You just took away his healing. How much health does that Rhine have?
Oh, I see the mistake.
Right? Where it's like, hey, I can try to chase in for these guys, but this Rhine can't actually defend himself. Like, I'll let my allies go finish these guys if anyone is going to, and maybe Zarya will come out here with some right-click shenanigans, etc. Maybe Lucio will do it, but you can just be like, I am going to swing, and nothing is going to stop me except, he doesn't have Shatter, except you hitting a pin, and I'm betting I can react to you hitting a pin. So you just swing like wild. Are these guys going to get up in time? Yes, they are going to get up in time. He doesn't have lamp, or that's the wrong one. Does he have lamp? He doesn't have lamp, though. You already dealt with his lamp. So it's going to be like he's going to get up and his Reinhardt is going to have, what, like 75 health? Like he's going to be struggling wildly to catch back up. This was fine. This was totally fine to go, hey, I hit my shatter here, and now I'm just going to swing the bejesus out of both of you, and they don't have enough damage to, like, they can't because Zarya's the only one who will be able to pressure you. They're not going to be able to put enough damage into you to stop you from swinging. Yeah, and then you went for a fire strike, which wasn't my favorite anyways, because you can't cancel that into a charge. But hey,
No one can hide from my sight.
okay. Where's your so? Here you are. I'm good with this. I'm still good with this. But where are you gonna go when this bubble ends?
I should go back to the point corner.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just not convinced I'm gonna see that happen.
Oh. Yeah, it didn't happen in this situation, but realistically speaking, I should have backed up to a corner or
Yes,
some piece of cover.
exactly. You needed something that you could use. Because here, if you're going, I'm doing swing trades, and that's okay. Yes, swing trades are okay, but you do need to know where you can go to stabilize behind after the swing trades. And your best, I'm going to hide behind the tree, was basically, yeah, you get it.
Okay.
Okay, and you're just done here. Not quite the 85 or so that we'd like, but could work, could work. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, sure, we can just wait out into the site. Our Widow's not interested in that plan, but... Fine. Okay, what are you doing? Are we taking this fight or are we leaving?
Oh, I think we were just waiting for resource, waiting for the window to go out. I think we were trying to make a push for right side
Okay.
because the window was left and we wanted to go right.
Yeah, okay.
But I didn't have no shield to really do it, so I wanted to wait here for a bit
Yeah,
to get
that's fine.
at least
If
a bit
this
more
is just
resources.
stabilize, I'm good with it.
Alright.
Not so good with this. I mean, that window is
It's still
very
there, yeah.
effective against you right now. So that's not going to work for us. We just wanted to... Yeah, you swing at him here to force him back a little, sure. And I know you want it, but his BAP is on the other side of a window, right?
Yeah, he's gonna survive that regardless.
Exactly. There's no way you take him down here. So he's got a basically full health shield. His BAP has a window to heal him with. You can't pursue this. You bullied him back a little. This is already a swing too much from you.
Okay.
Hey there.
Enemy.
Okay. You have your lamp. You're choosing to use your lamp. Fine. Okay. Okay. Missed fire strike. You just don't really know where you're going from here. Okay. So here you are. You have your
Okay.
flower pot that you can use just fine. So here's one of those things where you know that there's something still over here, right? Maybe you don't know there's the Zarya, but you know there's something that has to be dealt with over here. Is that a correct assessment?
Yes.
Okay. So I like putting you behind the flower pot, but I also just don't want these guys to take you down, right? So, like,
Mhm.
you sort of need to pick, hey, I'm going to stand behind flower pot and spread my shield, or I'm going to stand behind flower pot and spread my shield this way, and let my allies force out a direction, like force the Zarya to leave a little bit type thing. Like, I go here, maybe I shield for a moment, maybe I shield in camera so that I'm looking this way to see what's going on, and then I'm adjusting where I'm going. But this is I need my team. So like if I'm on it, if I'm really on it, I even with comms go focus Zarya, and then you're back to having a one directional fight, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's what you do here. Instead, you do this. You're here. Should you be here? Should you have left the cover of this to go like here where, there's different sight lines? Like again, if you're with the flower pot, I don't mind if you adjust to block out the McCree and go, hey, I'm going to block out the McCree while again, I want my team to deal with the Zarya. Or you could potentially go, I'm going to try to block out the Zarya while my team deals with this. But based on the number of threats, I'd have said you wanted to take away this half of the map with your shield while you know, pray, ask, scream at your team to deal with this, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
No one can hide
Oh boy.
from my sight.
Not worried. It's junk time. Okay. So we'll move on if you have another thing because we've still got time in the session. But the things that I'd say the thing that we are hardest focusing on right now is really tightly controlling your corner aggression, where we talked about your corner aggression here in terms of, hey, you have to recognize your health never went down. You keep going in. We talked on Mecha Base about the difference between like 400, 500 health and 200 health in terms of it's a one-step difference, but it makes a difference in terms of where you're positioning. We talked about, hey, I'm going to hold the corner here while the Genji is back here blading and just trust my team to deal with it. But I'm not going to soak resources. I'm just going to very passively hold the corner here. Like we've talked about most of that stuff. We talked about, hey, it's a one swing here. It's not a 3-4 swing here, etc. So it's mostly very tightly calibrating your aggression on corners, your aggression to drive back the other Reinhardt, based on what does your health look like, where's your team, and you can tell in part where your team is based on how much health do you have, right? Like that sort of
Mhm.
becomes part of it. Like that's exactly how you could tell that your BAP still had you pretty good because you never dropped below 450 health when you were up here. And if your BAP was like way over here, that wouldn't have necessarily been the case. So those are probably the biggest focus for you, and that's what I want you to go. This is what I'm really trying to calibrate. We're seeing a couple sloppy fire strikes from you on targets that perhaps it's late onto a bubbled target. Perhaps it's, when the target has plenty of health in the first place that I saw against the Reinhardt. They're not all sloppy. We're seeing some where it's clear no one's looking at you and you can get away with it. But we are seeing a little bit of that, and I'd say those are probably the two things I'd go with. But the thing that you're really going to want to do, because it's a narrow difference, but it's like I really have to hold this in my mind because it is a meaningful difference. Is this exactly how much corner aggression you can have? Do you feel like you've sort of got a baseline for that and how you can adjust it, or do you feel it's not been well enough defined?
I think it's been well enough to find. I just had to be like my holding my corner has to be more fine tuned than it was when I was in Diamond, since Masters is a different playing field. It has to
Yes.
be extremely fine tuned.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, does that level of fine tunement? Do you feel like you see that the gradient exists? Like, do you see
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I need to, as long as you see that the gradient exists and you think you have a feeling for when you're going to hit that gradient versus when you're not. That I don't care that you're not hitting it yet. I just need you to recognize that it's there and feel like you can recognize if you're doing it or not. Because if you couldn't, we were going to need to talk about it more so I could get you to a point where you could. Because, engagement timing, corner holding, a lot of this stuff is a sliding scale. And yes, we're getting stricter on it here in Masters because the opposing Reinhardt is going to make you get stricter about it. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you have another code? We can probably do a point or so of another map.
I don't, because
That's fine.
majority. I think after this, majority of it was just like one sided win, so it's not
That's
much
fine.
to learn from. But I do have some questions.
Oh, by all means, go ahead.
First things first. What should be my main focus now? Not that now that I'm masters, what should be my main focus as a main tank player, as for like generally?
Sure. So it doesn't change. Your main focus for a main tank player is still going to be properly recognizing engagement timings. Like, I'm not kidding. All the way up, that is going to be the prime focus because you have the most or arguably the most control over that as the main tank, and it is the most decisive skill, and it is on a ruler, just like this corner stuff is on a ruler for. So understanding, hey, what is my team's resources like? What does the opposing team's resource look like? Do they still have lamp? Do they still have nade? Are they missing 400 health when we're missing 200 health? How is that health distributed amongst the team? What does our barrier advantage look like? Are they split in such a way that this is a punishable group? Like, that is always going to be your main focus as a tank, engagement timing, because it is so much of everything. You can get more active on comms. You can focus a little bit more on rotations. You can focus a little bit more on the target calling if you want. Those are certainly good things and things that a main tank controls, especially if you plan to get back into, hey, doing more scrimming in the future, doing more playing on teams in the future. It certainly won't hurt to have practiced that a little bit more on the ladder. And that's also a skill that you, can keep leveling up, can keep working on. But that's still where I'd keep it. Beyond this, could we potentially work on, hey, leveling up your earth shatters, making sure you have types of earth shatters? Yeah, that's something that we could be leveling up, and that's probably something that we've started to touch on a little bit here, and I think will be revealed to us that we're going to do some more in the future on. But the big thing that literally forever will be your focus will be engagement timings. Doesn't go away.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Actually, I have been getting back into scrimming.
good.
Before I started joining this team, I was actually coaching them at one
Sure,
point,
sure.
and then I decided, coaching kind of just takes time away from actually playing. So I
Yeah.
decided to stop coaching for a while, do like individual coaching when I have the free time, and then play more so I can, keep making sure that my senses are still fine tuned and all that.
Sure, I think
Um,
that's good. I like people doing one or the other. I think when players try to do coaching, they tend to either do one or the other well or both poorly. Like when you get the player coach, it becomes you see their play start to deteriorate over time. But go ahead.
mhm. But the thing is, I wanted to ask. So, well, two questions I have for the team that I'm on. One of them is that I don't play main tank on this one. I actually play off tank,
Okay.
and I think that was because I wanted to help them fill because finding an off tank in like in a
Sure.
higher level could be hard in
Sure.
some cases. We try to incorporate more of a double main tank type thing since we're both main tanks.
Sure.
But obviously with the meta doesn't allow that because the Ryan Diva, Winston Zarya type meta.
Right.
So I've been getting a lot better with my Zarya, but my Diva not so much. Um,
Okay.
the question is, would it just be a good idea to find another team that's looking for a main tank?
Yeah. I am not an advocate of sticking around on a team that you have moved beyond, or that, drama has shown up on, or anything of the sort. And I'm not saying that's what's going on here. But yes,
Mhm.
remember, you're not going to be graduating into Overwatch League with this team. You're not Runaway. You're not joining Overwatch League as a team, right?
Right.
So at some point, someone is going to have to pull the band-aid off and go their separate way, and it is very easy for people to fall into the trap because we're human beings, because we care, because we have our social circles and we're social creatures, to go, hey, I want to keep playing with my buddies. I don't want to leave this good thing that we have going yet. I want to do that. It's very easy to, but it does stunt your own growth. Like, you can spend a lot of time on a diamonds team, on a masters team, on a low tier 3 team when you're ready for the next level up, and you're not necessarily going to get through that next level up quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go, hey,
Mhm.
I'm on a diamond team, I could be playing on a 3.8 team, a 3.9 team, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that it might be a 3.6 team. Doesn't matter to me, but I could be doing that. Like, there's no guarantee that you're going to speed run through the next tier because you spent more time in the previous tier. Like, to look at contenders, for example, you have lots of good contenders players who took a while before they got realized they really had to prove it. Like, to get from contenders to owl, it wasn't enough to win their region once. They had to do very well in their region multiple times before they got a look from owl, right? So, like, you sort of have to be selfish with your time, if that makes sense, where you need to be
Mhm.
like, you don't go tell a team that you're attached to them, you're going to play with them forever. You sort of let it be known, like, hey guys, this is great, but we're all here to get better. And when it stops being a mutually beneficial arrangement, none of you are under contract or anything, you just sort of go, I'm going to go to the next thing because this is a good opportunity for me. And if it ends up being junk in the next place, well, A, you'll get better at identifying junk teams, but B, you move on from that one. But anything below academy team, really below owl, isn't remotely a permanent arrangement. It's a, let's do this for a while together, it's fun, unless you guys are all just like, we're all friends and we're doing this as a rec league fun thing and we plan to do this forever, and that's fine too. I've coached teams that are like that and they're awesome. I've seen some of them have amazing teamwork, but they
Mhm.
are treating it like that. None of them have aspirations of going to the next level. Hey, I want to play on, I want to do well in open division, I want to get to contenders trials. None of them have those aspirations. And if you do, and I think you do, it
Mhm.
makes sense to keep moving up there, if you follow what I'm saying. And, like,
Yeah.
again, the players that I've seen in contenders now are players that a year and a half ago I saw were good prospects in top OD, but were not yet in contenders. And they didn't suddenly get a bunch of contenders tryouts. They had to keep doing well in OD. So, again, you get it.
Okay. I get it. So it'll be better for me to find the next level of team like a Masters team, for example.
I strongly recommend it. Yes.
But I see the question about that is I'm only like a 35-47, which is pretty low at
hmm
Masters. Should I wait until like I'm 36-37 where I actually maintain my position in Masters or
Up to you. It's totally up to you. It becomes a thing of, hey, you don't want to join a team and then 2 weeks later leave. Like, you do want to have more than that to it, obviously.
Mm,
And you might go, hey, I don't want people to take looks at me. Like, if you feel like I am going to get another 200 SR in the next week or two, yeah, absolutely. You should not let people set in their minds that you're a 3,500 player. You should let the first appearance in the look, like the first time that they're looking, as people are looking in the recruitment discords, etc., they should see your name, and they're going to see your name multiple times because you're going to post multiple times. Yeah, if you think that you can quickly, in the next week or two, get another 200 SR, yeah, you should do that before you post, because that first impression absolutely matters. But the flip side that you're weighing that against is, hey, If it might take you a month, well, okay, that's probably 3 weeks of scrim time that you could have been having on a better team, and that matters. And it's not going to bother me if you're on a team for 6 weeks and then you find a new team. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you strongly recommend me that I join a team where I play main tank and nothing else.
Yes, I would strongly recommend that you play main tank. Now, is it going to be the end of the world if like you play main tank and you guys have a super secret strategy where you run, I don't know, something weird like you used to see Diva Hog, for example, on
Yeah.
Control Center? No, that's not going to bother me at all. But yes, your primary role should be main tank.
Main tank. Okay. But I think that's most of the questions I have because I'm getting to a new scene. I just want to get the gist of how I should go about things.
Of course, of course. Okay.
I think that's all I have.